Bluff City Media presents the Two Buck Sports Show with your hosts, Rusty Buckets and Uncle Buck. Now, let's get to the show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to your Wednesday edition of the Two Buck Sports Show. Our first time ever going live. Let me start the stream over. First ever time going live on a Wednesday. And Uncle Buck, it's been a hot minute since you and I have had any type of conversation, much less chatted through the screens. So I ask, how are you, sir? How's your week going so far?
It's good. It's good. It's beautiful up here in North Mississippi. It's been a good week. I'm bracing for impact, though, because my wife is going on a girls' trip, leaving tomorrow. Oh, and me and the 4 kids are going to try to figure out how to do a baseball tournament this weekend. It is going to be an adventure. You do not want to miss Monday's edition of Best of Beef. I'll tell you that right now.
Cannot wait. That is going to be some epic tales of tomfoolery, coaching, and father malpractice. Hopefully minimized on that part, but yes. T's and P's for Uncle Buck this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm so glad to be here. It's a Wednesday edition of the show, which I messed it up on Monday with Kenny. I know you messed it up today, and I know it's not going to be the last time that we messed up what day of the week it is for the Two Buck Sports Show, but we're glad to be coming to you now 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 o'clock. Instead of ending your lunch break, we are glad to start your lunch break. Yeah. So everybody move your lunches up to 11 o'clock. We're on Bluff City Media's YouTube page. And I would cordially invite you, if you're watching this on X, to jump on over to Bluff City Media's YouTube page, hop in the live stream. We've got Kenny in here. We've got Wayno in here. He waking up another hour early. Poor Wayno. He is just... He's going through it for the good of the show here, and we appreciate him now more than ever, as I'm sure it's like 3 o'clock a.m. in Sydney, Australia.
It's wild. But, thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. Again, come on over to YouTube, and I just want to throw this up. We've had some big changes this summer. We've got the Daily Grind, as always, Monday through Friday at 7:30, live for basketball, tomfoolery, pop culture, whatever. The Two Buck Sports Show, as we have said, is now Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. Central, 2 a.m. Sydney time. So shout out to those down under that are awake. Probably only Wayno, especially the only one on this network watching the show at 2 a.m. in Sydney, Australia. And then the Anthony Sane Show is now live at 2 p.m. Monday through Friday on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you consume our shows. Check them out. Make sure you come hang out with us. Big things coming for the Two Buck Sports Show, Bluff City Media. This is just the beginning, so we're excited that y'all are here with us, and thanks for tuning in on YouTube, X, wherever you get your podcasts. So with that, normally on Thursdays, we dive right into what's called our real versus counterfeit section, where I throw up some things to Drew that are real or counterfeit, and we discuss which one it is. And so today, we got a special edition based on what happened to me earlier this week.
That's right. It's Wednesday. Segment number 1 for our second show of the week is always our real versus counterfeit. This is where Rusty gives me a take. I tell him whether that take is real or whether it's counterfeit, and we're going to get right into it. Rusty, what's going on? What am I talking about today?
Yeah, so we're talking pet peeves today, Drew. Like I'm a pretty easygoing guy. I don't get worked up over too much in life, but I have just a couple of things that irk me, and I just want to talk with you, with our friends in the comment section, and see if they can relate. So I'm going to throw up a pet peeve, and you tell me if it's real, if it bothers you, or counterfeit, if it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
So, first of all, returning shopping carts in a grocery parking lot, real or counterfeit pet peeve?
That you should, or
yeah, you should. Like that, you should return them and not leave them in the middle of the freaking drive-through or in a parking lot or whatever.
Listen, anybody who just leaves a shopping cart, it just for the wind and for the environment to just do with it what it pleases, is a menace to society in the highest degree. And it is such a pain in the butt. I can't stand it. We have a little rinky-dink Walmart, probably the smallest Walmart that Walmart has, and the shopping carts are just hand-me-downs from probably the second worst Walmart in the world. And so only if you're lucky, you get 3 wheels that are working. And so I understand the frustration when it comes to driving one of these in the parking lot, and just getting it to your car is a hazard. But then to go the extra mile and putting it up is just frustrating. But as a human and a resident of Earth that tries to do well, I put the shopping cart away, because whereas my vehicle, if a shopping cart crashes into it, it would do tens of dollars worth of damage. But some people do care. And if a shopping cart hits your car, it's never your fault. So just put your shopping cart up.
I ran into this. I went to see Maggie at her work the other day, and I'm coming in you know how Walmart has that main road, like right there in front, where you go like either way in front, like right in front of the front doors. Somebody was putting groceries in the back of their Equinox right there and just left it, blocking the whole right lane heading towards the store. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is one of the most annoying things for us. So now I have to wait for these cars to come through so that I can go around the buggy or get out, block more traffic, move it, and then get back in and drive through. It was such an inconvenience. Maybe it's the first world problem, but like that lady, like I wanted to be like, ma'am, what I wanted to do was, if I wouldn't have got shot, was hop out, grab the buggy, and put it in front of their car, and then get back in mine. But that didn't seem like a good recipe.
Yeah, I've put up so many shopping carts that aren't mine that I feel like Walmart owes me a check. Because if somebody leaves a cart beside my car, I'm putting it up because I don't want to tip my car. And I feel like if it's one of those, the old post 9/11, if you see something, say something. That's how I am with shopping carts. If you see a shopping cart near you that's not put up, then your job as a respectable citizen is to put the shopping cart up.
That's it. And then in that same vein, while we're talking about parking lots, immediately after that, I turned the right direction in a one-way in the parking lot. I'm heading down. You either you can go down or up the aisles based on the arrows. I turn to go down that next one, and here comes a car coming the wrong way up the aisle, because you can only like right hand or left hand turn in these spots. It's not like a double. They're coming the wrong way. So real versus counterfeit. That's a pet peeve. Like that's
you're gonna have to find something a little bit more polarizing. Parking lot etiquette is like very high on mine, and I'm always searching for arrows. And if you can't see the arrows, the parking spots are slanted for a reason. Okay. If you have to do, if you have to go back, if you have to go past the parking spot and come in at a weird angle, you're going the wrong way. Exactly. So do yourself and everybody else a favor and just go down the right way. And I will never I will never pull through the parking spot in front of me to get out easier. I'm always backing out to stay with the flow of traffic, the way the good Lord designed.
Yeah. That's
my wife. She pull right on through, go through the wrong way. And I'm just like, honey, somebody's going to check, not check up and whip it into this lane, the lane they're supposed to be in, and smash into you head first.
100%. So apparently we have Kenny and King Meeks who are serial wrong lane drivers. And Maggie brings up a great point here. That Trader Joe's parking lot is tight. It's narrow already. And if you go down the wrong way, you're going to have a bunch of upset people waiting on you to get out of the way. And that's kind of my prerogatives. If I see somebody doing that, I get in the middle of the lane and like, brother, I'm in the right here. You got to figure this out.
I will take my half out of the middle of a one lane if I see somebody coming the wrong way.
100%.
I'm not always the bigger man in this situation. I will sit there and and go the other way.
Yep.
A lot of times I feel like being a good person to some people means that you're just always passive and you just try to live in harmony with everybody, despite everybody else just being wrong and living like hooligans. No, sometimes you just have to be the person that's just like, no, my feet are firmly planted in the right. You, Mr. Wrong, will have to get over it and get around me because, as I said, I am always Mr. Right.
That's it. And I also have a big truck, as Kenny points out here in the comments. So I can take my half out of the middle and take up the entire lane. So good luck getting around my big truck. Next up. So one of the things that I can't stand is when you're eating and you're cutting your steak or you're cutting your chicken and your fork scrapes on the plate and it makes that loud, like squelch noise.
Yeah.
It literally makes my skin crawl and like my spine is going to pop out of my back. And I have a visceral reaction to it. So real or counterfeit, that's a real pet peeve of mine. I can't stand that sound. Like I will always like give you a little flinch or almost jump out of my skin when my fork scrapes the plate.
Yeah, now we're getting too deep on your list here. A lot of this stuff is unavoidable, and I don't really know. Like, it's part of the problem with the design. It's like, okay, you want to eat on a glass plate with a metal fork, then you're just going to have to deal with this. If you want to bring your own plasticware to the nice steak dinner restaurant, then you can. But although I will say that if you are at a nice restaurant and you have to work that hard to cut your steak, it's because you didn't get your steak cooked right. You know,
I'm like Bobby Hill
stalling on a steak, or else you should have just gotten chicken. But
I'm like Hank Hill here, where it's if somebody asks for their steak above medium rare, I ask them firmly yet politely to leave.
And if you want to boo somebody, I think if you want to publicly shame people who do this, go right ahead.
Maggie does like her steak cooked a little bit more than
who has you in her profile picture.
Exactly. That's going to do it for our real versus counterfeit for today. I'm going to bring up some more as we go, just talking pet peeves, talking things that have irked me this week. And, I'm becoming a curmudgeon and a grumpy old man. So this list is probably going to get longer and longer.
There's no becoming to it. You have became.
I have became. So, hey, real quick, want to talk to you about something that can help if you are becoming quite the old curmudgeon like I am, and that is Ounce of Hope. Ounce of Hope is our sponsor. We partnered with them. They're a great company. We love what they're doing and what they're doing for us and our community. Particularly, I have a story for you. So Kenny called me early today, and he works out at a gym out near his home. And he was talking to one of the trainers there. She's a 75-year-old lady. She's got some kids, and they were just talking about life. And it turns out one of her children was diagnosed and passed away of cancer when he was 18. And they were just talking about just how devastated he was by the chemo medication and all the radiation and medicines that he was having to take, and just the toll it took on his body. So she was all interested in alternative medicines and things to help, with those symptoms that maybe aren't as hard on your system. So Kenny started talking to her about Ounce of Hope and our guys over there and what they do, and told her about the website. You got to check them out. Give them a call. So she called Ounce of Hope and spoke to one of the bud tenders at the Sanderland Center location. And she walked her through the entire plan, the entire program that Ounce of Hope has, all their products and things that would help her with her sleep. She's on a lot of medication that helps with that has some side effects. And so she was super excited to talk to him. And after the phone call today, she told him how wonderful this helper was. And the information that she gave was top notch. She was very thorough, kind, and understanding, and gave her some real life options to help as alternatives. So now this young lady is going to reach out to her primary care provider, talk to her about what are their options and how to transition from some of these heavy side effect medications to a more holistic approach. Maybe not the answer for everybody, but it was for this lady. So I want to encourage you to reach out to Ounce of Hope. They're a great local company doing a lot of great things from a holistic medication standpoint and how they can help our community through green initiatives, through alternative medicine, alternative to alcohol, those type things. But this is just a great example of how Ounce of Hope can help our community and the right people who can benefit from their products. Give them a call today. Check out one of their locations in the Sanderland Center or on Cooper Street in the Cooper Young neighborhood. And as always, ounceofhope.com. Code Bluff City for 15% off your order, and check them out today.
Looking for an alternative to alcohol or conventional medicine? Check out Ounce of Hope, a Memphis-based dispensary with 2 local stores in the Sanderland Center and on South Cooper Street. You can get all the products you need in a location convenient to you. Each store offers an intentional shopping experience with dedicated bud tenders to answer all of your questions, from product selection and mushroom blends to our personal favorite, the Delta 9 seltzers. You gotta try the Peach Buzz. Try Ounce of Hope at either one of their 2 Memphis stores or at www.ounceofhope.com for convenient products shipped right to your door. Use the promo code Bluff City for 15% off any order, excluding sale items. Cannot be used in conjunction with other promotions or discounts. One use per customer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Welcome back to your Wednesday edition. If you're here, like, subscribe, turn on those notifications. Drew, we have been blowing up, adding over 7,500. I'm not even giving him a time of day. King Meeks turned into a professional hater. over 7,500 new subscribers in the last 28 days. Be one of them. Click subscribe while you're here. Turn those notifications on so you hang out with us and whoever else you want to on this network. There are a lot of great content creators here talking Memphis Grizzlies, talking NBA, talking college football, as King Meeks is trying to bring up here. Man, I thought we were friends and I was invited to the cookout, King Meeks. But you keep talking about Mississippi State like that, we're going to have some problems. But again, thanks for tuning in here today, guys, as we are heading towards the NBA Finals. NBA Finals start tomorrow night, Thursday night. It's like a late tip, like 8:30. You got the Pacers facing the Oklahoma City Thunder. Oklahoma City Thunder are a massive, massive favorite. There's no secret to it. The Thunder are going to likely win this. I predicted on the Daily Grind, Thunder in 5, 6 at the most. Because in an 82-game season and now through 3 playoff series, the Thunder have not lost 4 consecutive games. You can't find it. It just didn't happen. They only lost 14 times in 82 tries. And so I don't know that the Pacers have enough to beat the Thunder in a 7-game series. I'll be the first one to eat crow, and I am actively rooting for the Pacers. Shout out to any Pacers fans that are out there listening, tuned in. Big fans, rooting for y'all, because I hate the Thunder. It's a deep-seated hatred that goes back to the KD, Russ, Harden teams. But I think that this Thunder team is going to be hard to beat 4 games in a row. So I want to start by kind of talking about what the Thunder need to do to win this series. As Uncle Buck had a work call. I'll be back in just a minute. So the Thunder win this series if they just continue what they're doing. SGA is on an absolute tear, averaging big minutes, big numbers, and big free throw attempts. As I talked about on the Daily Grind yesterday, SGA leads all NBA players in this year's playoffs in free throws made and free throws attempted. He's in first place with 147 free throws attempted. In second place, just behind him, is SGA in just the first half with 79 attempts and 65 made free throws. In third place is SGA with 68 free throws attempted and 61 made. So he's shooting free throws at a super high clip and he's making them. SGA's whistle is absolutely diabolical in these playoffs, and it's only getting worse as we get deeper. If nothing else, the Pacers saved us from an absolutely abhorrent finals where you had SGA and Jalen Brunson having a little bit of a flop-off and see who can draw the most fouls and free throws in what would have been a very unwatchable NBA Finals. But this Pacers team and this Thunder's team match up well. The Thunder just need to play with pace. That's what they've done all along. They run teams out of the gym because they just come on with an onslaught. The Cavaliers coined the term the Cavalanche, where they would just pour points on you, and they had this cool little thing where they would release confetti in the stands. It was like snow, right? The Cavalanche. I don't think that has anything on what the Thunder onslaught can be. The Thunder can put points on you in a hurry. We learned that with Memphis. We learned that against the Nuggets. We learned that against Minnesota, where they can absolutely bury you in a heartbeat. The Thunder just need to keep that up, keep that pressure up, keep that gas down, and keep on the defensive end intensity, right? Going after the ball, as Kenny's talking about here, forcing Indiana to turn the ball over. If you can get into that, then the Thunder are going to win every game by double digits, probably 15 or more. In each series so far, they've had a win where they've just buried a team by 20 plus. And if Indiana's turning the ball over, that's going to happen again. You know, we can get cute and talk about end of the bench guys and the Thunder going deep and the Thunder all this, but what it's going to boil down to is playing their basketball game, playing with pace, forcing the turnovers, SGA getting to the free throw line. And Chris, I'm starting to get there myself. Listen, man, like I get it. It's ugly basketball to watch, but if that's the future in the NBA and Josh started drawing some fouls next year, that's where it's heading. It gets you some free throws. If he's not going to get the calls attacking, maybe it's something to consider. But I do believe in ethical hoopers, and SGA is not one of them. Again, we can get cute and talk about end of the bench guys and big Jalen Williams and what Hartenstein is going to do. But what it boils down to for the Thunder is SGA getting in his bag, getting to the free throw line, getting defenders on their heels, getting those guys in foul trouble. And then that mid-game, it's just – I mean, it's so impressive. Taking my hater glasses off because I have big ones for the Oklahoma City Thunder, SGA is having an incredible season, an incredible run, and he's what we wanted Ja Morant to be. If Ja Morant could be that mid-range assassin, I mean, he's right back to what he was a few years ago when he was leading us in deep into the playoffs, into that second-round series against Minnesota before getting hurt. Also, Jalen Williams, little Jalen Williams, needs to continue to shoot the ball at a high level. He has been incredible for this Thunder team during this run, finding open threes, being that kick out option for SGA. Again, I hope Ja and the Grizzlies are taking notes on what they're seeing from this Thunder team and how they utilize Jalen Williams. Jalen is what we wanted Dez to be in these playoffs, right? A kick out option for a driving Ja Morant, Jaren to get doubled and him find Desmond in the corner. But I saw in a group chat earlier today some stats about Desmond Bane that really broke my heart and how he really, truly bad he was in these playoffs. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to leave that for another conversation just because it's truly abhorrent. But Jalen Williams continuing to shoot the ball and SGA getting his back, that's really all the Thunder need. Again, guys, this team only lost 14 times in 82 attempts. I don't know that they're going to lose 4 in a row to the Pacers. As good as the Pacers are, that's not a knock against the Pacers. They're a great team. They play with pace, averaging 117.4 points per game, slightly ahead of the Thunder at 117.1. But this Thunder team just has to play their basketball game, Drew, and play with their normal conviction with SGA and Jalen, and they'll walk away with this series.
Yeah, so I would like to just apologize to everybody for allowing Rusty the platform for like 5 minutes straight. Okay, I know it was nonsense, and I caught most of it, but all right. Listen, we're talking
Thunder. The Thunder win if. We'll talk about the Pacers in a minute.
The Thunder win if they stay healthy. I mean, honestly, I've been the guy that's championing the Pacers pretty much the whole time. Felt like I was pretty early in being one of the first ones in this playoffs to say, like, hey, this isn't about Dame getting hurt. I'm not doing this again. I want to give them credit for staying healthy and also not give them any demerits for their opponents getting hurt. They play a very fun, a very prolific style of basketball that, because of the speed, it puts pressure on the teams that they play. And maybe the Achilles tears and the nagging injuries that teams experience when playing the Pacers is because the Pacers play at such a breakneck speed and put so much pressure on you and make you play as hard as you possibly can for 48 minutes. And so I want to give them a lot of credit. However, everything I just said about the Pacers, about putting pressure on you, being able to play at a breakneck speed, turning you over, getting in transition, that is what the Thunder do all season long. You know, they won 68 games in the regular season, lost 14. I think they've lost 4 in the playoffs. It's just everything that I think that the Pacers do well, I feel like the Thunder do better. Mm-hmm. You see what the Thunder did against the Cavs. We think of the Pacers being very guard dominated. You know, it's all Halliburton, and it's a combination of Nembhard and whoever guards that that kind of run this fast-paced offense. What the Thunder did against Minnesota and their guards being very guard dominant made Anthony Edwards extremely inefficient. There's no reason why I think that Halliburton is anything that Anthony Edwards isn't, you know. Like, I hate it. I hate that I feel this way because I want Indiana to win. I do also share that deep-seated hatred for the Oklahoma City Thunder that you do. I just don't really see it. So to answer your question, the Thunder win if Shea doesn't get hurt early in the season.
I think, unfortunately, as much as I want the Pacers to win, I think the Thunder win if nothing changes. If it just goes like status quo, nothing changes, like you said. And I think we could probably change that to the Thunder win, W-H-E-N, not if. Yeah. But so Thunder, I'm tired of talking about the Thunder. I'm tired of talking about them and how they're probably going to win this series. What about the Pacers? The Pacers win if. What can happen for the Pacers to win?
I mean, I don't know. They don't turn the ball over. I think that it has to start there. You know, Oklahoma City led the NBA in turnovers forced all year. I'm sure they led the NBA in points off turnovers. It just kind of always starts there. And that's kind of what I was talking about. Like I said this morning on the Daily Grind, if the Pacers are Bud Light, the Thunder's Budweiser. You know, it's like they're just kind of the weaker, watered down version of that. But if somehow Indiana can out execute their game plan, which is kind of the same game plan Oklahoma City is, then it works. You've got to hold on to the ball. You can't allow Oklahoma City to get out in transition. And it starts there. You know, Indiana has to win one of these first two games at Oklahoma City. If you look at their record so far in the playoffs, that being Indiana, I believe they're 6-0 in game 1 and 2s, but they're also 0-3 in game 3. So in what should be the most important game for the Indiana Pacers, being their first home game, which would be game 3, they're 0-3 in those games already. So you've got to get one in Oklahoma City to start it.
Yeah, because if the Thunder get up 3-0, 3-1, it's over. You're not going to beat this team 4 games in a row. They haven't done it all year, and they've only lost 4 in the playoffs, like you said. It's just not going to happen. And so the Pacers win if King Meeks kind of puts a nice bone if it's a miracle, yes. But there are ways we can get there.
Miracle. I think he's talking about miracle on ice.
Yeah, exactly. There are ways we can get there, though, right? Like, Hallie's got to be perfect. You know, that 35, 15, and 12 and 0 stat line comes to mind. He's capable, but this is the Thunder team is not the Knicks, the way they play defense. Halliburton is going to have a target on his back. The way he's won these games in clutch minutes and hit those late shots. I think if the Pacers keep it close, they can win some games. Again, we're going to be optimistic here and say if the Pacers keep it close, they can find a way to win. But it's going to start with more of their role players. With the Thunder, we didn't get cute and talk about end of the bench guys because it didn't matter. But this Pacers team has a way, or this Thunder team has a way of cutting off your best player's water, as Tony Allen once famously said. And so it's going to be Pascal Siakam. It's going to be what Miles Turner can do in the paint. Can Nembhard or Nesmith or Mathurin slow down some of these Thunder guards enough to where they can hang around? Because this Thunder team is very, very physical. Something that the Pacers kind of are. Like you said, it's a great analogy that like they're a watered down version of the Thunder because the Pacers do play a bit physical. They just don't have the size or the bulk in the guards that the Thunder do in the Lou Dorts and Jalen Williams that can go body for body with some of these guys. So I think if the Pacers can match some of that physicality, and like I said about the Nuggets, kind of play into that Thunder like physical play because they foul the crap out of everybody every possession because they know the refs aren't going to call everything. But if you can play into that and force that issue and force that whistle a little bit, maybe you get Lou Dort in foul trouble. Maybe you get Alex Caruso in a bit of foul trouble and has to sit a little bit. But the Pacers are going to have to be perfect if they're going to do that. No turnovers. You can't miss shots. And one of the things that's going to be an X factor, and shout out King Meeks for saying this earlier, and we'll talk about this, is the coaching edge. Rick Carlisle has done a great job so far in these playoffs of knowing when to stop runs with a timeout, with a timely substitution and moving things around. Drew, he's going to have to do that to perfection in the finals because the Thunder can put on an onslaught that you'll be down 4 and you'll look up and you're down 19. Yeah. Just like that.
Well, and that happens because of turnovers. Whenever they get on this avalanche, it's because they start turning over. And you look at Alex Caruso and you look at Kason Wallace and look at all these guys. It's just absolute animals. And when they get on these rolls, the other team starts turning the ball over to their point of attack defender. And it's 9 times out of 10, it seems like Alex Caruso just picking a pocket of whoever he's guarding straight up.
Yep.
So that's where it is. If the Indiana Pacers win, it will be a miracle. I love rooting for miracles, but it'll have to be a miracle, and it starts, in my opinion, just continuing to play your team basketball without turning the ball over. It's just got to be.
And a lot of it's going to be on Hallie and the guards just being smart with the basketball because the Thunder are very opportunistic. They vulture really, really well. You've got to be ready and have the ball where you need to go, have a plan with it. And Carlisle's done a great job coming out of timeouts and run stopping with drawing up great plays. It felt like in that Knicks series, anytime the Knicks were going to run, they'd call a timeout and like immediately would get a Siakam 3 or a Nembhard 3 or a Mathurin would get a big bucket. And it was like he could turn the momentum. And so if you're going to get out of these games, you've got to be able to squelch some of that Oklahoma City Thunder momentum that they find themselves with a lot.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is you just can't get down big. You've seen the Pacers on multiple occasions this playoff make these heroic comebacks late.
Yeah.
You can't do that against Oklahoma City because they, as opposed to Cleveland and Milwaukee and the Knicks, like they have the ability to shut the water off. You know, I can't remember where I heard it. It's probably Pat Riley or one of those legendary coaches. Like you blow out people with defense. You can beat people with offense, but you blow out people with defense. And that's because when you get a lead, you can really, like you said, shut the water off. And so you cannot, Oklahoma City can't do that. So you cannot get down big.
Yep, exactly. So hopefully we'll come back Friday. We'll revisit game one, talking about what we saw, what we like, what needs to change for either team. Hopefully we're talking about a Pacers win. I think it can happen, but I think we both, if like feet to the fire, had to make a prediction. I think the Thunder coast in game one.
Yeah, I think that's my prediction.
I think maybe Indiana can win game two, but I think tomorrow night that the former Chesapeake or whatever it was, whatever they're what's the name of their stadium now? I'm blanking on the Thunder Stadium. It changed. Anyway, the Thunderdome, whatever it is going to be
Bank, maybe
something like that. I think it's what it used to be. Anyway, it's going to be rowdy. It's going to be rocking. It's going to be loud. I think that's going to help the Thunder tomorrow night get game one, but maybe we get a Pacers upset over the weekend. Drew, while we're talking NBA, let's hang out here for a little bit because our commissioner, Adam Silver, was on Fox Sports FS1 this morning, the Breakfast Ball Show, talking draft lottery, talking all-star game. I want to start with this quote. We were going to talk about the all-star game format. We'll get to that here in a minute. But one of the things he said when he was talking about the Dallas Mavericks getting the first overall pick and the ability to draft Cooper Flagg is he said they were trying to win. Then Kyrie got injured and Anthony Davis got injured. So they found themselves in the lottery. Odds are odds, and that's how it turned out. What are your thoughts on that quote based on what we saw this year from the NBA lottery?
I think, like I've said before, I think karma rewards those who try and don't tank. You see that every year. I mean, I think Detroit was the last team that actually had the best odds get the number one pick, and that's been, 4 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
You can point to it must be rigged because of this. It must be rigged because of this. It must be rigged because of this. I just have no way. Nobody has ever shown like actual proof that it's ever happened. Like I just don't understand how it could possibly happen.
I mean, again, we probably need to talk about the Tooth Fairy then, because call it karma, call it Adam Silver, call it big bank rolls, whatever. The Dallas Mavericks did get the first overall pick. Maybe they were rewarded by Adam Silver or karma, as you said, for playing hard, doing the right things, or trading Luka. Whatever it is, the NBA rewarded them mightily.
If that's the case, I think the Grizzlies should also thank Adam Silver for getting Ja Morant with the number 2 pick, because it's the same story. Mm-hmm. The Grizzlies tried extremely hard that year, despite playing 28 players, and we had the 9th, 10th best odds, and you landed in the lottery.
Again, you're helping our cause. You're helping our cause here. You're helping our cause here, because
nobody said that the Grizzlies it was rigged. So that
I'm not saying for the Grizzlies. I'm saying that they can pick and choose who gets those and that kind of thing, especially like Knicks in '85, the Shaquille O'Neal draft, the LeBron draft.
The Knicks in '85 was before the lottery. That was those were envelopes in a see-through drum. That's right for a conspiracy, and I subscribe, but I don't subscribe to this.
Anyway, we've argued about this enough. If y'all want to help Uncle Buck with the Tooth Fairy in the comments, please help us with that. But
it's Adam Silver, I'm the conspiracy theorist. You're the conspiracy theorist. You should be the one that wants to talk about the legitimacy of the Tooth Fairy.
Because
you're the one believing in conspiracies, not
if
me.
You go back and look at our comments and comments on Twitter and comments in our shows, you're on an island on this, brother. Like 99% of people are on our side and understand
I have no
that the
problem
number one overall
not agreeing with the sheep. There are many sheep out there.
Not left up to chance.
There are many sheep out there. I'm comfortable being outnumbered.
Again,
that most of the time means you're on the right side of things.
As Mark Twain once famously said, never argue with a fool because they bring you down to their level and beat you with experience. So we're going to move on. Adam Silver also talked about the NBA All-Star format changing. And so the NBA All-Star format in 2026, the game is going to be a Team USA versus a Team World. So the game will be played in the afternoon with some Olympic-style events before and after. So, Drew, it begs the question, are we going to see Ja Morant in the high jump? Are we going to see Zion Williams throwing a shot put or a discus, because I imagine that'd be
Zion Williamson in the NBA.
Maybe that's a bad example.
It's certainly not at the All-Star game.
He's got to stay out of the DMs.
He's got to play basketball to get invited to All-Star weekend. Yeah, that's if he's not in prison.
That's it. Are we going to get Wemby in a pole vault? Are we going to get what is this going to look like?
I don't know. The Olympic event thing is extremely intriguing to me. Like, what does that even mean? Because Olympic events are can I see, Domantas Sabonis do curling or something? Like, can we you're talking about Olympic events I'd want to see. I'd love to see Zion Williamson throw a discus. That would be awesome.
Yeah. What I'm saying. Like, see Wemby and like get your tallest ones like Wemby, get Jaren, get Zach Edey, and do like a hurdles where they ain't even got to jump. They just like step over them as they're going down the track.
That would require Zach Edey running fast. Yeah. I get Jokic and his horses to do a few laps for us. Carry the flags in with Jokic's horses.
They do horse racing, so that's got to be one. It's like Jokic versus everybody. Like the odds of Jokic winning that is going to be like minus 10,000. It's going to be ugly.
This is funny. Wemby doing a fencing contest because the arms on a.
But what does the game look like? Team World versus Team USA. What are your thoughts on the format?
Well, we've seen this before. I don't mind it. Listen, this is just another way of getting Adam Silver trying to get players to care and to buy in. And last year they did the tournament style, and you had to play the rising stars, and you hope that that gives them a little pride. You don't know, you lose to the young bucks, and then it didn't work. It was awful again, and another idea that was just scrapped after 1 year, with the sole purpose of the idea being to get the players to care. So what did he do this time? He was like, well, they always care in the Olympics because it's USA across their chest, and maybe we can manufacture that, and it won't work again. So I don't really know. I don't really know what's going to happen. The thing that's most confusing to me is I have no problem with USA versus World. I've been on record saying you put the stars and bars on anything, and I'm cheering. Okay,
absolutely.
I'm a patriot.
If
I'm nothing else, I'm a patriot. I don't understand the afternoon tip off. That's kind of strange. It's kind of like they're trying to. He's got something up his sleeve that is going to have people more excited than the All-Star game. So they're going to move the All-Star game up earlier in the day. So I don't know what's up his sleeve there.
Yeah, maybe it's to be some Olympic events where we get SGA on a diving board, where we get a decathlon with some of our big, like Zach Edey at a decathlon or something like that. Just see what it looks like. I don't know. But until the players care, until there's a reason for them to try and hustle, this game's going to be boring. It's not going to matter. It's a cool format. I like Team World versus Team USA. I happen to really like that format. But until the players care, it doesn't matter what that looks like, because it's not going to change anything.
I think this is interesting. Wayno says he hopes he doesn't do it. Wayno is international. He's an Aussie. He says he doesn't want an Aussie in the All-Star game because they need Aussies, but because he earned it. And for that reason, you will not see an Aussie in this game. Jock Lindale's not going to do it. So yeah, I don't think you have anything to worry about there.
Last thing I want to talk about NBA-wise before we transition, talk a little super regionals. The Brooklyn Nets have been rumored to try and pair Cam Johnson and the 19th overall pick to trade up into the lottery. A couple of teams they've been talking to have been Toronto and Houston, and seeing what they can do to try and move up in the draft. Drew, what is that? What do you think? That's just maybe some smoke signals? Do you think that kind of rules out the Grizzlies as the destination for Cam Johnson? Because we've all been hopeful. What are your thoughts on that rumor?
Well, I think it means that they are exploring options, but and the Phoenix Suns just made a coaching hire. I'll let you break down Jordan Ott in a minute, because I'm unfamiliar.
You talk.
Yeah. So, what were we talking about?
We're talking about Cam Johnson being paired with the 19th pick, moving to the lottery.
I think it's very obvious that they probably just don't want what we have to offer, or they're considering other offers. Listen, there's real shell shock here with the Memphis Grizzlies trying to get a deal done with the Brooklyn Nets. They kind of held us, kind of left us on the curb there when it came to the Dorian Finney-Smith trade.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's probably bad blood there, and I don't know that a deal was ever going to get done anyways. And because if a deal would have been done, it could have been done last year at the deadline. They obviously want other things, and if they want young players and a top 5 to 10 pick, well, then obviously the Grizzlies can't compete with that.
Yep. So Jordan Ott is the new head coach for the Phoenix Suns. He is a Michigan State assistant, it looks like. He's got some ties to Budenholzer. He was a video coordinator for him in Atlanta for 4 years. He's been on an assistant team. He went to school at Michigan State. He was an assistant this past year. He's been coaching at the NBA level since 2016. He was at Cleveland. And so basically what you need to know is Bright Side of the Sun, a Phoenix Suns podcast account, put out a tweet back about 2 weeks ago and said, which Sun head coaching candidate should the team not hire? And overwhelmingly, the fans at almost 50% said Jordan Ott should not be hired. So it doesn't look like this hiring is going to land real well with the Suns faithful.
Listen, fans don't ever want somebody to want their team to hire somebody's assistant. They always want like an established name that they know. I guarantee you 99 out of 100 Phoenix Suns fans had no idea who Jordan Ott was.
Not at all.
And that's why they voted for him.
Exactly right. But hey, that's our basketball talk for today. Plenty more coming on Friday as we recap game 1. We talk about any Grizzly-related news, and you never know what these two fools will come up with. But in the meantime, we are going to talk our first love for a few minutes, and that is college baseball.
All right, segment number 3. It's where we talk just, whatever sports we've got on our mind. And right now, we are thinking about college baseball until this segment's over, and then I'm never thinking about it again.
We're going to talk college baseball because it's a fun time. It's the best postseason atmosphere in all of college sports. You can argue with a wall. If you watch some of those games over the weekend, yes, neither of our teams fared very well. We lost to the number 9 overall seed, Florida State Seminoles, in their home regional. We gave them hell for 2 games, just couldn't overcome it. Before the big news in Starkville came out, which I'll get to that here in a minute, and Drew's Ole Miss Rebels struggled a bit with the Murray State Racers of Ja Morant fame, who got their first regional win since the year of our Lord, 1979. So, Drew, quick take on your Rebs in Murray State.
Yeah, so I was...
Because you were there, right?
I was there for Monday night's Game 7. It was a winner take all. The winner moves on, loser goes home. And Ole Miss went home. And listen, it's no heartbreak I haven't endured before, although this was a special flavor of heartache because, boy, was it electric in Swayze Field on Monday afternoon, only for Ole Miss to get down 9 early in the game. I mean, listen, there is something just so refreshing about that Murray State team if I take myself out of my Ole Miss fandom for a second, because everywhere in baseball, it's home run or strikeout. And they put up 11 runs without hitting a single home run. They had 19 hits in like 6 innings. It was
small ball works,
just
man. It still works.
Clinic of singles and doubles. And it's just something, there's nothing more frustrating than that. Because it's like, okay, we were down 5-0, and Ole Miss hits a 2-run home run. And it was like, okay, this team's got 5 runs on 9 hits. We've got 2 runs on 1 hit. Well, a walk and a home run. I was like, how do we ever come back from this? Because they just won't quit hitting the baseball. And lo and behold, here we come. I told my dad, I was like, at the middle of the 7th inning, we're down 11-2, I think. And I was like, we don't score here. It's like, I'm not one to leave early, but we can go. They hung up a 5 spot, and then they hung up another 5 spot.
Got within 1, right?
A 3-run home run, trimmed it to 1 in the 8th inning, and there's now 2 runners on and 1 out with the meat of your lineup coming up. You've got a big lefty first baseman who likes to hit a bunch of home runs. He strikes out swinging. And then Judd Utermark, who's got 21 home runs on the season, which is a big number in college baseball. He strikes out leaving the bases loaded. And then you bring in the best story in Ole Miss this year is Hunter Elliott, who won a game in Omaha 3 years ago. He's a Tupelo boy, so he's local. He missed 2 years for Tommy John surgery, and he's just been your best player all year long, starting pitcher. You bring him in the ninth inning because you have to have pitchers, and the place goes wild. He's 3 up, 3 down. I mean, electric. It was like welcoming home. I mean, it was just an amazing atmosphere. And then you go 3 up, 3 down. And if you would have asked me when Braden Randall hits a 3-run home run to knock the lead to 1, 100% certainty we win this game. This is remembered as the Hunter Elliott game where you come back and it just didn't happen.
I read on Twitter. Is this true? It has been since 2009 since Ole Miss has hosted a super regional.
No, I don't think that's right. I'd have to look it up. I would say this: we have not had good luck in home regionals. We've never won a home regional. Both times we went to Omaha, we went on the road and won super regionals.
Maybe there you go. Maybe that's it. Maybe it is since 2009. But you always have those little darling mid majors, and this year it's Murray State upsetting Ole Miss and UTSA.
You just wait.
They will. I mean, Murray State's a good baseball team. Like, I'm not going to knock Ole Miss for losing them. Yes, they lost to Murray State, but that's a good baseball team. Same with UTSA. They went to Austin and just beat the brakes off the number 2 overall seed, Texas Longhorns, as a feeder school to set up a showdown with UCLA. And then you can't really call them a darling mid-major because they're always in super regionals. But Coastal Carolina has advanced again. They face Auburn in Auburn. I look for that one to be an upset as well. That's as the Chanticleer shants up, take down Auburn. The other one, I kind of kicked the hornet's nest and upset some trolls yesterday by picking West Virginia to upset LSU. Maybe that's a bit of a hater in me. Maybe that's just because I hate LSU. But West Virginia is a good statistical baseball team. No, they don't play in the SEC. No, they don't face the same competition. But they're not some little pushover. And I look for that series to go to 3 games this weekend as well. You've got Tennessee and Arkansas, some bad SEC blood there. But it was not a good weekend for the SEC, who put 13 teams into regionals and only had 4 advance. And 2 of them are now playing each other, so they won't go to Omaha.
Right.
Or showing for the SEC in the regionals. But it sets up some good matchups. I think that Florida State, Oregon State, 2 traditional powerhouses, are facing off in Corvallis. You got Miami, Louisville from the ACC facing off in Louisville. So I think there'll be some good baseball this weekend. If you're into baseball, you're new to college baseball, check it out. It's the best postseason in all of college sports, and it continues this weekend with super regionals.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to that Tennessee, Arkansas. I hate both of those teams, but I hope Arkansas sweeps them.
Yeah, exactly. I hate Arkansas a little less than Tennessee, but that's going to do it for our Wednesday edition of the 2 Buck Sports Show. As we both have work we've got to get to. Unfortunately, I'd love to sit here and talk to Uncle Buck all day and tell him where he's wrong about literally everything, but alas, we run out of time.
I'm wrong about nothing.
So go be a friend of somebody who needs a friend today. And remember, there are no refunds for what you heard today on the 2 Buck Sports Show.
That's right, because with the $2, you always get what you pay for. Have a good day, everybody. We'll see you on Friday.
Thank you for tuning into this episode of the 2 Buck Sports Show. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page, like this video, and leave a comment. We will see you back here in a few days.